Hi there everyone, it's me, it's Brent. I'm Brent, your content creator for the YouTube channel PathandTarot, as well as the blog of the same name. So here we are. In this video, I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how to perform the card spread opening to Devil's Triangle. So you could be watching this from the embed of the article and you're wanting to learn more, or you could be on the YouTube channel and you're just wanting to see a quick demonstration on how this works. So I'm going to be walking through all of that with you here in the quickest way possible, and in the next video I'll be doing more of a long form demonstration talking about the inspiration of this playing card spread and some more finer details of this. But really this video is really just to get you familiar with how the spread works. And then in the other video I can actually perform a reading for you and maybe go into the meaning of the cards. But all the details will be present for you in the description of the YouTube video, so you know, all the transparency affiliations will be present in there. And if you're in the article itself, there'll be other links at the end of the article to further your learning, so that you can learn the meaning of the cards and how to work with the playing cards a little bit further as well. So all of it will all connect for you. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to be drawing cards right off the top of the deck to show you what the spread looks like. And this is something you can do to perform the spread if you're running low on time. You know, there are variations to this which you can use, which is to be expected. You know, games always tend to have their house rules, and this is no different. You know, I've set it up so that it can have its own built-in house version of the rules to do a quicker version of this, because this would technically incorporating some game elements. So I'll show you the quick version, what it looks like, how it works, what you would use it for, and then after I show you that, I'll actually perform for you the full version of Beat the Devil using the modified game rules. So here we go. I'm just going to draw the cards right off the top, and this is what you do if you're doing it a quick way. Make sure you shuffle the deck, which I'll do actually right now while we're talking, just because you'll be able to see me shuffle. Now as a bonus, you could, after I draw out the cards, and you'll hear me talking, you can just pause the video to see the cards and interpret it for yourself. Perform the interpretation. You'll know the rules. You'll know how it works. Go look up the meaning and see what message is in this video, because I'm not going to do an interpretation of this. I'm just going to show you how, but maybe there's a hidden message in this video. So that's going to be kind of exciting. I want to leave that with you. Maybe like a little bit of homework. So do that. So okay, so here we go. So shuffle the cards. So I'm going to perform the opening of the Devil's Triangle. So if you look at the word opening, it sort of implies also a closing of the triangle, which is the case. There's two versions of this. We're going to open the Devil's Triangle with the triangle going in this direction, then we can close it going in that direction. And again, like I said, these two versions of the spread have their own special purpose. So let's start with the opening of the Devil's Triangle. You're going to draw the cards out in a very specific manner. So that's 1, and then you would draw 2. That's the second card, and then 3 on top of it. And you're basically building up. So you're going 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're building upwards, as you can see, to get the triangle set up. Okay, I'm just going to make sure you can see all the cards in the video frame there. Okay, so this gives you 10 cards in total. This is great because having more cards in a playing card spread makes the reading just a little bit easier. You may think that having less cards makes a reading easier, but it's actually more helpful to have more cards. So having 10 cards in total is very nice. And so how this works is each of these 4 columns has a specific purpose as you work towards an expansion of your answer. So opening the Devil's Triangle, this is a good spread to use if you're looking to gain more insight, to expand your insight into something that you're wanting to know more about. Maybe there's a situation at work that you're wanting more information on, or something to do with a life event. Maybe you're moving, whatever it is you want to ask. Maybe you're not familiar with what's going on and you want to know more. This is a very good way to get more information. And as you can see, it expands, so you're gaining more insight by the end of the spread. So these columns work in a particular way. The first column with just 1 card, this is you. This is understanding the problem. This represents you. It defines what you are attempting to understand. So this first card kind of gives you an idea of what's going to be expanded upon. And the second column is devising a plan. What steps are required to move forward to a solution. And then the third column is carrying out the plan. So what is needed to help you execute the steps? And then finally the fourth column is looking back. What is the result of having executed each of these steps? And where does it leave you now? So the fourth level provides you as the reader with a final answer from your first card as it's been expanded upon. So these 4 steps give you your a better understanding of what it is you're looking for. So as you're reading through the cards, you'll realize right away that there'll be negative cards and positive cards, cards with negative meanings. Don't worry about that. Negativity has a place because it resolves to positivity. So as you're working through the cards, don't focus too much on one or 2 particular cards. All the cards have to be used to give your interpretation. So when you see a negative card, look to the cards around it. Use the geometrical shape to your advantage. Form patterns, right? You know, there's diagonals here. There's rows and columns. Use all that to connect the cards to create your sense of resolution from the negative meaning. The Ace of Spades is actually one of the more negative cards of the playing card meaning, which is kind of funny. So that'll be your first tip if you're going to interpret these cards on your own. So pause. Okay, we're back. All right. So if you see a negative card, look to the cards around it. See where it can resolve to. And that gives you an idea of, the path of your answer. And, do the opposite. If you see positive cards, where are the negative cards lay? Where do they end up? Do they exist in your devising of the plan, or is it part of the carrying out of the plan, or is all the negative cards in the final column? Looking back, like what's the result of you expanding your understanding of the problem? So that kind of gives you an idea of how this all plays together. So you're going to be using all of the cards to conduct your reading and to get your final answer. So this is the opening of the Devil's Triangle, and I'll form for you the closing version of it. I'm just going to take these cards and I'm just going to quickly shuffle them. They're just 10 cards. Because there's no need to draw out any more cards, because they're really just going to be reshaped. Because it's really the exact same format, just going backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1. And each column retains its meaning. The 4-column card is looking back, carrying out a plan, devising a plan, and understanding the problem. So it's just in reverse. Okay, so these are all shuffled. These are the 10 original cards. So to do closing the Devil's Triangle, again, we're drawing cards upwards to build the triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So knowing what you know from the first version of the opening the Devil's Triangle, closing the Devil's Triangle, simplifies your answer. It's focusing on to one point, right? So 4 cards describes to you the situation you're wanting to simplify. So again, this is looking back. You would then have to look at this as a situation where maybe you've thought about the problem a lot, you're familiar with it, but you're struggling with it, and you want to simplify. You want a more refined answer. This is a good spread for doing that. So you're starting off with a perspective of the problem, right? So you're starting off looking back, essentially, knowing the result of everything you've done so far to have an understanding of the problem. What can I do to simplify what I know? And then you're at carrying out the plan. What will help me move to a clear understanding of the problem? And then down to the next level, devising a plan. What is required to move the solution? And then finally, understanding the problem. And then this represents you. It defines what it is you're attempting to understand. And as you're performing closing the Devil's Triangle, this last card should have a positive meaning. Or a meaning that leaves you with a sense of closure. Because keep in mind, not all the cards are positive. So keep that in mind. If you get a sense of closure or the card is positive, then the playing card spread would be complete. You would then have gained a good understanding of what it is you were looking to find out. If the card doesn't give you a sense of closure or it's negative, perform the spread again. You may want to open the Devil's Triangle and close it once more. Maybe you want to try and close it once more. So as you can see, these variations, you can start to fold in on itself and get different variations. Maybe you want to just draw the cards out like we've done in this demonstration without playing the Beat the Devil version of it. So you've already got some variations that are kind of built into this already for you to work with. So know that the last card needs to be positive or give you a sense of completion so that you're left with something tangible to walk away with as far as an understanding of what you want to ask. Now, if it's not, again, if we were talking more about that, it could be that maybe you just didn't focus your intentions well enough, or maybe you weren't focused on the problem. Or possibly you didn't ask the right question. Maybe the wording of the question was hard for the cards to give you an interpretation from. Maybe try a different variation of the question. Reword it. Try that. Sometimes it's not. You can't give good answers to certain questions. That can be the case. So know that as well. If you're trying to resolve that last card and it's not working out, maybe think of rewording the whole question, and then trying variations of the spread like I've suggested for you. So there it is. You've got opening the Devil's Triangle, and then this is the closing of the Devil's Triangle. Doing that in that pattern, going up and down, it creates actually a large pyramid shape. So it kind of gives you an arc of a problem. If we were to arrange this into a pyramid itself, you can kind of see, you just get a visual representation. So, this gives you an arc of a problem. So these opening and closing of the Devil's Triangles is a way to do that for yourself within this playing card spread. Okay, so there it is. That's the quick version of how to do this spread. So I'm just going to gather up the cards. So I hope you had a good chance to see what those cards are. Now that they're gone, you won't see these cards again. So you can always go back and rewind it and pause it and get the meaning. The last hint is the Ten of Hearts, as our last card, is actually a good meaning. So we got lucky here once again on the channel. We've captured synchronicity in a bottle. 10 of Hearts. That means something pretty good. So I'm comfortable in moving on into the next version of this video. And I've got another deck here that is pre-shuffled. I'll shuffle real quick once more for you. And now what I'm going to do is perform one version of the spread, opening the Devil's Triangle. I'll do the open version, and I will use the game rules from Beat the Devil. Sorry. in their modified form to show you how it will work in the spread and what that would mean. So there is an element of winning and losing within this spread, which acts as a subtle layer of divinity within the spread. So if you win during the performance of this, that's a good sign. So it would mean that the answers that you're getting from the cards are correct, or they have a positive message, or what you're asking means you're on the right track. It has a positive meaning which you can then interpret for yourself within the context of cards what it could mean. So it's just another layer to add on to these cards. So omitting this part means you're removing that extra layer that could provide you more insight. So that's why that's why I would encourage you as the reader to perform the full version of this. But as you can see there, you can do both and still get results too. Okay, so that's good. I've shuffled it enough. So this part of the spread, all of it's called Opening the Devil's Triangle, but again, like I said, these rules come from the solo card game Beat the Devil. We've modified the rules to fit 10 playing card spots, and by doing that, the game is easier to beat. With only 8 cards, which is the original rules, by the way, it's actually quite difficult to beat the devil and to win the game. But with 10 cards, you'll find that you can win more often. So that's another change to the rules, which makes this sort of a unique spread. So how this will work is if you are winning, you're going to end up filling out all these spaces, most likely, but there may be a situation where you don't fill out all the spaces, which we're going to cover as we walk through this part of it. So I'm just going to draw up the cards and just explain in real time how the rules work. So if you are familiar with Beat the Devil already, you've seen other videos, you probably know what's going to happen. It's really just the same rules, just using 10 spots. So here's how it is. So we're going to do Opening the Devil's Triangle. We're going to go this way. So draw the first card out, and then the next card next to it. If these cards match, I would draw another card on top of each of the cards. Since they don't match, I just draw and open up the next pile. And you keep doing that until all the piles are filled up. If I've used all of the piles, and I can't use other cards, I can't make any other moves, I'm done, I've lost, I haven't beaten the devil. So then you would then just complete the reading for yourself and see what that means for you. And again, you're carrying over the fact that you didn't beat the devil as a message. Maybe there's something unclear within these cards, or maybe there's like an overarching meaning that you can put onto these cards as well too. So keep that in mind. It can really it can really change the reading for you. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we go. It's our first match. So when the cards match, all you do is draw a card onto each of the matches. If you have more than 2, same thing. You're just drawing a card onto each of the matches. 3, 4, however many. There's only 4 matches of 4 possible. So there we go. Draw a card onto that, onto each. So now I've got another match. I can't open up more piles until I have resolved all possible matches. That's how the rules work. And so as I draw a card onto these cards, I can't do anything until I've covered both cards. So that's another minor detail of the rules as you go through this. So there we go. So 3, 2. Okay, so I've got no more possible matches. So now I can open up another pile. And now I've got a match. So I'll cover that. There's no possible matches. So now I will open up another pile. And you're opening up piles according to how the cards were laid out, as you've seen previously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just like that. That's how you would draw these cards into the piles. But nothing says that, the matches appear randomly. That's how this works. And so that's how the randomness is inserted into the playing card spread. So here we go. No matches, so there you go, ace of spades. Here we go again. Let's see, nothing. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's no possible matches. 8. Okay, so I've got my 5s here. And we got our jacks. So then we've got 2s is our next pair. And then we've got kings. Here we go, so aces. So what do we got? 6. So our 6s are now paired up. And now we've got 10s. So as you can see, it allows you to go through the whole deck to lay out these cards. So you know, you may get different results. So I encourage you to try both. You know, do a spread without performing Beat the Devil, and then do it this way to see what you get. So we've got our next pair really right here is the 2 8s, so 8s, and then 6s, and then 9s, 7s, kings. Let's try the 8s. Let's see, you got 5s. Let's do 5s. So we'll just pause real quick here because now I've got 2 slots to fill. I have to fill up these 2 slots to have a complete reading. So I've got a handful of cards left. So now at this point, you just sort of have to see the pair possibilities, and you just have to make sure you place 2 cards at the end here to finalize the reading. So right now I've got 2 queens to pair off, and that's all I have to work with. Now what you probably already can see is that you, the reader, you're sort of in control of how this spread pans out. Once you have internalized the meaning of the playing cards, as things get dealt out, you kind of get to see how it unfolds, which will come over time. But that's the really interesting part of using Beat the Devil, is that the final result has much of your intention embedded into it, because you're deciding to choose which pairs to draw into. Because there are multiple pairs that can appear at the same time, as you've already seen. So let's keep going. So I got my 2 queens to pair off. Alright, so now I've got 2 jacks, and now I've got 2 4s. I've got 2 aces. Okay, so here we go. So this is the part, like I said, where you need to be looking at how many cards you have left. It'll be quick. It's not something you have to spend too much time thinking. We just have to kind of realize where you're at. So I've got a pair left, and I need 2 more cards to complete the spread. So I'm going to draw the cards onto the aces. So there's a pair of 10s. Forget about them. You've only got 2 cards left, so they have to be dealt in order to complete the spread. So this would be our final reading if we were to do the full version of the playing card spread. Let me just kind of collect these cards up a little bit so they're straight. You can see them better on camera. I think you can, yeah, I can see the display right up there. Okay, so there you go. So this would be it. So you would read the cards, the last cards facing up as your cards in the spread. So, because we're dealing with the opening the Devil's Triangle, this is understanding the problem. Second column is devising a plan, carrying out the plan, and looking back. And then that gives you an idea of what's happening with your question. And so for this situation, we beat the devil. We beat the the mini game that's a part of this playing card spread. So that carries a positive meaning. So we can use that and interpret in various ways. You know, we can conclude that what these cards are telling us is accurate. It could also mean that the result of these 4 cards at the end has a positive result. Use your intention to take that bit of information, the yes or no, win or lose condition of the beat the devil, and put that into the reading, so that you're combining all these elements to get your answer. And then again, perform the closing the devil's triangle in the same way, so that you can get a more refined answer to your question. So maybe you want to, you're asking a question that you want to expand upon. Great, so now you've expanded upon it. You've expanded upon the question, and this is what you've got. And maybe you want to then simplify that down to one bit of information, one card, and so then you would perform closing the devil's triangle that way to get your final answer. So there it is. That's how it's done. And again, like I said, if you were not able to beat the devil, you would see real quick that you would fill up all the piles and you would have no moves to perform. There's no more pairs that you can cover, so that would be, you would have lost that part of it. So there it is. Combining these variations will then provide you various levels of complexity that you can use to develop your own method of reading and see what's comfortable for you. Maybe you want to spend time with just only using the full version, so that you've got those extra layers of divinity and you're getting a real understanding of how these playing cards work. And then, you could attempt the shorter version if you just need a quick glimpse at something. You've got that possibility. So there it is. I will leave you with that. Again, I'll reiterate all the links will be in the description below. That will explain the meaning of the cards, a written out explanation of the spread, and some other helpful links as well there for you. Okay, so that is it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.